Okay, so we're going to run through a little quick video on how to draw the bowling pin in Fusion 360. Downloaded a drawing, which I'll base all my measurements off. Um, it is in inches, so I've had to base all the measurements in inches. There's a little bit of work that you have to do around that. But I thought I'd show you the basic steps on how to get going. I won't show you the whole thing. And you're going to have to sort of work a few things out, see how you get on, but it'll give you the main part. So on the screen here, you can see my sketch. If I finish my sketch, you'll be able to see there's the bowling pin, there. So in the sketch, we've got two main elements that we are looking at. And if I hold it perhaps just on that view there, you can see that we've got all these dashed horizontal lines, and they are just defining the various heights that we have within the sketch. And we've got a different type of dashed center line, if you look closely, that's running down the center of the pin. That is called a center line, and that helps to helps us dimension the diameters that are going around the middle. So our point that we have, if I go back into our sketch here, we're going to zoom in. So here we've got a line that's going across. So if I highlight that with blue and just put my mouse on it, so that's defining the height of a point. And this is the point just there, that little white dot. So that dot is 0.75 of an inch high. But that's also a 2.83 diameter. So because you reference from the center line, it works out the diameter of the full revolve that you're going to do. Otherwise, you'd halve that to get the radius if you need to do that. So if I delete that off just to sort of show you what I mean, if you go to the dimension tool and then you click on the dot, the point that we've made, and the center line, you can see it highlights in blue, you can see that it automatically puts the mirrored part of that where it needs to go out the other side. So that's what's called a dimension around like that center point there. So you need to find two dimensions for each one of those little points. One point is the height, one point is the diameter that you're going to be doing. So the easiest way to do that is if we grab a new design, and I'm just going to show you how to sort of do one. You're going to work from this origin point at the base. You're going to go to document settings, make sure that the units over here are in inches, and then you'll be able to copy the same dimensions that I give you. Just go OK. All right, so what I'm going to do is you're just going to get the line tool, and when this palette comes up over here, you want to make these a construction line. We don't want to we just want to be able to reference to that. We don't want them to actually be part of what we are drawing. So we're going to go construction line, and you are literally going to draw a line there, make sure that it is horizontal, and then go hit the little button there and go OK. If you can't reach that little arrow key, you can right click on your drawing and go OK that way. So you're putting lines like that. And then you're going to use the dimension tool to define that height to that dot. And then copy the dimension, and then you put the next one. And then it'll be from that line to our origin point, and then you do the next one. And so on, and repeat that process for all the heights that we have in the pin. The next part is that you're going to, now if you can't see the dimension tool, it'll probably be down here. So you can use the sketch dimension there, or the letter D on the keyboard, and we'll bring that up. Just up from that, you can see we've got a thing called point. Now the points are what you're going to then draw on that line. So you're going to put a point on this line, and then you go over to another point that's going to be on that line, and so on and so forth, all the way up. And that is what you're going to reference from. Now, at the moment, we don't have a center line drawn. So you need to go to our line tool, go back to our sketch palette over there, and you see that the next one across from the construction is the center line. Select that, and then draw a line from the bottom and all the way up, and obviously do it to the height that you need for your pin. I'm just going to do that so you can see. You can see that the dashes are different in the center line to the construction lines. So we're going to go right click and go OK. Go to our dimension tool. And now when we dimension, we can click on that dot, then click on the blue line, our center line, and it will give us a diameter of what those points need to be. And again, then match those diameters up to the drawing that you've been provided with. Hit OK and repeat that process. All right, so make sure you get all your diameters are there. Oops, I deleted that. Let's make this one 1. There you go. Okay, so once you've got all your points drawn all the way up on each one of those construction lines, you're going to use the spline tool here, which is this one here, fit point spline, and you're going to basically click from that baseline here and then click each one of those points that you're going to have until you reach the top of your pin. Okay, and that'll create a nice curve there. The top part of the pin is actually, you can draw that as a circle. So it is a circle. It does ask for a radius there. So if you draw the circle like that, dimension that tool and it will come off as a diameter. So once it's in a diameter like that, you can right click that and then go, where is it? Oh, cancel out of that. So if you cancel out of the dimension tool, then right click on it, you can go toggle radius. It gives you the 10. Now, once you've got it in the radius, then enter that as per the drawing. And then that's going to be your last point is going to be as a tangent, which is this thing here. You're going to tangent that line to this line. So by doing that, let me see if I can bring this one across. If we have that line like that, we should be able to go tangent. We want to tangent this to that. You gonna let me do it or not? Oh. So if we grab that, we should be able to get that dot that's there. So the dot's actually in tangent to that. What we're going to do, the endpoint, sorry, is fix that to that, and there we go. There's our tangent. So our line is actually merging into that. If I can click off this line here, our spline is actually a tangent to this circle here. And that's how you're going to get the top of the bowling ball. And then you're going, the bowling pin. Then you're going to delete this part of the circle out so that the line just basically goes up around the top of the pin. Okay, so that's the top, and there's going to be a small radius down the bottom here, which you're going to use a three-point arc, this one here, and you're going to create like a point there and a point there, and then one out the side. So 3-point arc is 1 point, 2 points, and then you define the radius. So 3 points like that, and then dimension that as per the drawing. So whatever it is in the drawing, then dimension that afterwards. So probably need to help you with that bit there. If we go back to the bowling pin and we look at that, you can see that there's the 3-point arc down the bottom there. So I've got a point, and it might be helpful for you to draw in this line here first and then define the diameter of that. And once you've got that fixed point, that becomes your first point. The second one becomes your second point, and then clicking out there and define that radius. That's how you do that. If we look at the top of the bowling pin here, if I scroll up, you can see that there's my circle there. It is actually going all the way around. It's got a radius of 1.273 inches. And you can see that it doesn't quite line up with our lower point. So we've actually, that's the end of the spline, is using that tangent tool to tangent into that spline. So don't worry about if they don't line up like that. That's okay. Place all those on there, and obviously that's going to be the end height of the pin, which is at 15 inches there. And you can see I've deleted off those. Once you've got your drawing, and you can see that I've only got half the pin there. I haven't got a full pin. Half means that it's shaded, so there's only one half that's shaded. You basically go finish sketch, and you're going to create what's called a revolve, which is this one here. And essentially what a revolve does, if I edit that and see if I can show you, it takes that shape that we've drawn and it revolves that around in a full circle. Okay, So it takes that profile and shifts that 360 degrees, and it makes a full unit. And then there's your pin. So have a go at that. You're going to be supplied with these drawings here. So this first page on the drawings is all the heights. So that's where you're going to draw the lines. The second page is the diameter for the points that are there. And they are, don't forget that these dimensions here are radiuses. So you have to double that to get to diameter. And they're all in inches. Okay. So you'll get those two drawings there. And then you're going to have a crack at doing the bowling pin. Don't forget to, when you start a drawing, if I get out a finish sketch out of this, you need to go to the sketch tool here, create sketch, select a work plane. For this, I recommend we do it on the XZ plane, which is that one there. Click on that and then draw your sketch. All right, have a go at that. See how you get on.